That seems to me that might be
Halder taking the cut through. Here we go. He's going to close in on Silva. He took the cut through on the corkscrew last time too. Is he going to do that again here?
Let's see, he's awful close to Silva. Silva goes a little bit deep. He is going to cut right through, comes in front of him, but he's a little bit out of sorts. Car manages to get itself back together, and Nico Silva tries to cut back on him, gives him another little hello, sneaks inside, down into turn 10, and makes a pass. I can't remember the last time I saw a pass into that turn.
It's going to take a brave move for the four chicanes here. No side-by-side yet from Sanchez. Trangarade will have to hold on through a tight section. White flag coming to checkered flag now. Sanchez needs a big corner exit here. Hard through the corner towards the final chicane. A slide for Trangarade. He hits the turtles. Sanchez with the pull. Side by side, they all slide. Trangarade wins it. My goodness, what happened?
Is that going to be enough to counteract anything? That's a battle for the lead as well. Frisha trying around the outside now. He's going to try to hold it out, but again, Paulie Partonen able to hold it out. Oh my goodness.
And in the back, you can just see that is Juan Costa looking out of place, trying to get on the inside of Jukka Talonen as they come around side by side and just shoved out to the grass. Thomas Simon has struck. He struck again, the second time in two corners. On the inside, going around the Lesbo 1 into Lesbo 2. Jukka Talonen and Thomas Simon going at it. As we jump back to the car number 66 in 9th position, that is going to be Steve Way, looking to make the move on Alexander Wilfred on the outside, making it nice and tidy. Hold on to your hats, come on. Don't do it now, gentlemen. It's still a bit too early. Oh, on the inside, still holding. So he's hugging the inside curve as much as he can. Steve Dwyer on the last corner of the last lap makes a move and overtakes to take 8th position.
I think he has as well, but here comes the move for Philip Hammer. It's going to be down to the inside, going through the first corner, done and dusted. Lucetta tries to fight him back a little bit, but it's a little bit too late. But no, Lucetta's going to have the inside coming up the rise to Druids.
And in through Druids goes the slides. Philip Hammer's not able to make it effective on the outside, but on the inside.
The Kamel GT community is an adventurous bunch. We've seen some unusual and daring combinations during the regular season, so it only makes sense that when the opportunity arises to try something truly outside the box, this group will jump at the chance. So for the first time ever, we'll witness 80s sports cars tackle an oval as we get ready to watch the Benz Unlimited 250K, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Robert O'Brien. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Since most of our road racing followers might not know as much about the old version of Phoenix, let's head down to our track guide to find out a little bit more about this place.
Today, we're going back in time to Phoenix International Raceway as it stood in 2008. Before the big renovation in 2010, this front straightaway was even tighter than it is today. In 2008, it was a whole 10 feet narrower, so those track blocking incidents are even more of a possibility here. Turns 1 and 2 are an even 11 degrees from top to bottom. It still is tight though, but you don't have to worry about setting up for the dog leg on exit. Here, it's more of just a kink in the backstretch and nothing but grass and curves underneath. That, by the way, you don't want to hit. Going into 3 and 4, the track is back at its original 9 degrees. That wall on the exit of 4, though, still comes up in a hurry, so some things just never change. Overall, though, Phoenix has less grip and the track surface is bumpy. That desert sun taking its toll on it. While Phoenix opened in the mid-60s, it was more of a sports car and open-wheel facility. This facility saw it all with IndyCar, from the USAC days to the IRL kart split to modern-day IndyCar. They tore around this oval at blistering speeds. The Copper World Classic, featuring USAC midgets and silver ground cars, was one of Phoenix's marquee events. Stock cars didn't even show up until the late 70s, with NASCAR's West Series making multiple stops and modifieds having a few special events. Beginning in the 90s, the slide shifted NASCAR's ways. Nowadays, all of the NASCAR's major series come here. Today, we'll take that trip down memory lane and see who ends up in victory lane at the classic Phoenix International Raceway.
Well, Rob, we often talk about, well, this is going to be a unique one. Traffic's going to be tough, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the tracks we visit for Kamel. Today, this really will be a unique one. What are they up against in this place?
They're up against 4 corners of, well, how should I put this other than unique madness? It's an oval for 2 sets of road cars that never tend to go around an oval, but it might provide a little bit of a surprise for Phoenix International Raceway. Of course, is 4 corners of a 1 mile or 1.61 kilometer race set, and they'll be up against the walls, more than likely having to go around an oval in cars that are not designed for the tarmac, but with a very, very gentle incline. The turns are 9 to 11 degrees, and comparative to the rest of the ovals that you see around the United States of America, pretty tame. But that pit stop as well, that's actually going to be something that we're going to have to scrutinize, really, because it's a gentle incline and then a sharper turn coming out of the 4 and then leading back into the 1 and 2. It's tight again, so the driver's going to have to be A, awake, and B, very alert. 2 things that you really do need in an oval like this.
Certainly, especially with 2 different classes. Multi-class racing is obviously something these drivers are used to, but, well, having it with lap times of 22 seconds for the GTPs and 28 will leave them on their toes. Now, for the race itself, let's go through our race details, since this is a special one, because it's a special Week 13 event for our competitors. It's a 60-minute race. I know it says the 250K, but that's more of an estimation. It is a timed race, and it's an open setup one. They do have a spare car, unlike what they see in the regular Kamel GT series. So they have at least a bit of a parachute if they fall off. So they will be able to rely on that if they get some damage, but there's only one of them, and that could get sucked up quickly if you don't keep yourself out of trouble towards until close to the end. The other thing that's interesting is they also have full course cautions turned on, and they will split those restarts, so the drivers will not have to worry about having to try and weave their way through slower GTOs if they're in the Nissan when the green flags come back out, because I don't think we're going to see this thing go green the entire way. But right now they are getting to the qualifying session, and it's only 4 laps that they have to set their quickest time. Kind of curious to see how important that track position is going to be today, Rob.
It's going to be very important. I would have thought that having the caution, the full course cautions are definitely going to be something that these guys are absolutely 100% not used to. So they're going to have to navigate that kettle of fish quite timidly, I would imagine, because it's A, it's something that they're not used to. B, it's on a track that they're not used to. And C, it's a multi-class. So combine all those 3 together, you have a huge barrel of fish. They're all just trying to vie for the water, really. And the waters are Phoenix International Raceway. So you can see the big old lumberjack of a car that's going around right now. That's going to be the car 34 of the PlayStation 2 of our man Hugh Haycock. Sorry, 34, correction, as Hugh Haycock's already puts in the fastest lap. That was very quick.
In fact, he's the first one to put a time in, but he was very fast in the warm-up session as well. Alex Millward about 2/10 behind him. In normal situations, that would be relatively close, but with how short the laps are, that's actually a pretty big gap between the pair of them. Haycox's second lap, not an improvement though. Wonder if that first lap is going to be the money lap for many of our drivers. Still not seeing anybody faster than him. And Daniel Sadro has the provisional pole down in the GTOs.
Yeah, and he's just followed up by Reed Miller, and Devin Donaghy goes faster on car 121 with a 28.581. We're not talking about, oh, and there we go. Hugh Haycox definitely put in a screamer lap that time around. Look at the sort of width of track that they have around here. They'll have plenty of opportunities to get past each other, so that won't be an issue. But the issue comes down to, well, as normal ovals would have you, that is, you know, a pretty normal width of a track, and they're only going to have really one racing line, so it's going to be a bit hairy out there, I would have thought, especially given around this I think this is turn 4 here.
Yep, that's off onto the main straights. Bit of a strange track, even in oval terms as well, with the tri-oval being on the back part, and it's a kink, not really banked, hardly at all back there. So Nick Mukanos, who was on the front row briefly before Riley Thompson just took the pole away. It was Devin Donaghy who was in the lead there. John Keefe moves himself up into the top 5 in the GTOs. It is changing around very quickly here in the last few moments, with a few drivers giving it until the dying stages to try and get the cars out there. Mukanos now all the way down to 4th as Reed Miller as well gets himself involved in the conversation.
Pretty sure all of these drivers are going to have to apologize to their cars, being sorry, I set you up so incorrectly, I'm so sorry, as they have to do, you know, as with any old car would be, they would have to be set up very left leaning, sort of that the car pitches to the left, gives it an extra little boost in the corners. And as far as I can say, it is going to be one of the weirdest setups they're ever going to be putting on a car. And I'm not sure if the car is actually going to agree with it either, because remember, these cars are very neutral. They're meant to go left and right, not just left. So, you know, far be it from me to be the oval expert, and I think you are, Joe. Like, how is that going to shape up for these cars?
If you're relying on me to be the oval expert, we're in trouble. But yeah, I've watched this before on cars that aren't meant for ovals being taken to the ovals on here. Lotus 49s regularly have that in their session, as Mikko Tupola gets himself into the top 10 there. Ove Trangrade as well into 7th. And you, from what I've seen, you kind of have to do some weird things. I always reminds me of when I watched Christian Challoner, who is definitely a guy you want to pay attention to when it comes to setups for cars. Now actually officially working for iRacing, helping setting them up, as unfortunately Trangrade bangs against the wall and that lap gets discounted. He set up the Lotus 49 for a special majors race, and he did all kinds of very strange things to the camber, and the car just sat very oddly, even just watching it in the pits. But it was fast, and I think those who are savvy and trying to mess around and experiment are going to be the ones that you'll see find that speed, because it's so much more about setup here on the oval side as the qualifying finishes, which means our grid is set, and it is Hugh Haycox who took the pole in the GTPs. Aitor Sintez Galindo, while we weren't looking, put himself on the front row. Alex Millward will start from 3rd as Laust Olsen is in 4th. Then it is Mike Reuter, P5. You've got Martin Krajcik starting 6th and John Keefe in 7th. Outside of that row is Ove Trangrade. Ben Laughter, P9 for him as Doug Cloud rounds out your top 10. Last couple in the GTPs is John Cope in 11th and Wiley Cox in 12th. Rob?
Esco in the GTOs, correction. Esco Leminetti is in pole position with a 173, with Riley Thompson just following behind with a 28.230. Yuko Leskela puts himself into 3rd, just 9 thousandths of a second behind. Then Nicholas Mukanos puts himself on a tie with Ian Haycox with a 28.333. Then Devin Donaghy is back down there in 6th with a 28.372. Reed Miller in 7th, and then Daniel Sadro in 8th. Mika Tupola in 9th, and Dominique Bureau in back down in 10th with a 28.548. And then we round out the final floor. Jamie Hamill-Smith, he's a bit down there. He's got himself a little bit of work to do. And then Michael Haynes, Silver, Pierre Metz, and Oren Laskin round out that last top 10, or the last 4 of the top 10.
There you see, we have 26 cars that are going to be racing out here today. Might not sound like much to an oval league, but I think that's going to be plenty to keep everybody excited and having fun out there today. As you can see, they're waiting for the pace car to lead them around, and it is at least relatively good temperatures. It's been a bit cloudy, as we've seen, too. A bit unusual for the desert, but iRacing has blessed them with some grippy conditions, it seems. You know, it's not just the fact that these are cars that are not meant for oval racing, Rob. It's the fact that I look at the Audi. We have to remember, that's a four-wheel drive car. I don't think four-wheel drive really is a thing anywhere in any oval series in the real world.
No, and I guarantee you those guys are going to be very, very nervous. If words could describe how they're feeling right now in their boxes, is absolutely nerves, because, well, as I said before, a very strange setup for these cars. And with the four-wheel drive, I forgot, four-wheel drive is going to be absolutely timid with the setup that you have. So, yeah, I'm scared. I don't know how the drivers are.
Yeah, I mean, with all they kept talking about the understeer most times in those Audis, I wonder if that's going to burn off the front tires for this race quickly, unless they can try and get that out in the setup as the pace car is in. Hugh Haycox has control, and the green flag is out. He gets a pretty good jump over Sintez Galindo. Behind them, it is side by side between Laust Olsen and Alex Millward, and it looks like Olsen's going to use the high side. No, he starts to wash out. That carries on. Let's go. We've already got a wreck in the back before we can even get to the GTO start, and they have to scatter to try and get around them, with some of them collected.
Oh, and that is... Oh, dearie me. Yeah, that's a lot of damage there for the poor GTOs, as they had to try and avoid it. By the way, Esco Lemonetti just about tried avoiding it, but just couldn't do it, and that is that for them.
Oop, and no caution yet. I'm a bit surprised at that. I think that's Trangarade there down at the bottom. Looks like Doug Cloud also in the pits. Mukanos, Miller, and Tupola unable to withstand the damage. So it is Hugh Haycox leading, and the GTPs. Letaniemi is still up in the lead, but now by a whopping 1.1 seconds over Hugh Haycox.
I'm just about... It's crazy. Like, I'm just... Look how quickly Hugh Haycox is passing by.
And looks like they might have to throw this caution manually if they are going to have these cautions. So Hugh Haycox coming around with the fastest lap of the race now, already 1.3 seconds ahead of Sintez Galindo. And on lap 4, they start to catch up to the slower traffic. Yuko Leskala in front of them, pulling off to the side to let them through, and look at them absolutely weaving past one another.
Oh, sorry, I just heard that is going to be Aitor Sintez Galindo in the wall.
It is indeed. He finds himself up to the side, still no caution showing. So the drivers might have to run this one straight through, as it seems that it is not set up how they initially expected. And look at the mess of GTOs having to try and sneak by Sintez Galindo, and there's our caution.
First caution of the day on lap 6 of a speculative 160, and I'm pretty sure everybody is sweating, just pure sweat in their boxes, because oh dearie me, I wouldn't survive this. I don't think either of us would, Joe, because it's just bananas, sheer bananas. Just that start alone was quite something, and then with how quickly the Nissan GTPs caught up to the Quattros, it was super quick. And just look at Sintez Galindo, he's crabbing like mad.
Yeah, he's going to have to take that spare car, no doubt. I think a few of the drivers have. Yeah, pretty much every one of them that came into pit lane, literally every one of them that came into pit lane I'm seeing, have taken their spare car. And Sintez Galindo about to join. We got a replay. I'm guessing this is... Looks like this is the start. So, oh, he just cut down. Trangrade got tipped by somebody. I think that's Cloud.
Oh, you can just see there.
Oh, yeah.
That's That is not one. That is not something you want to see in the mornings. A lot of just. We said before, or I said before the race, the track is actually quite wide. But I mean, when you have a car stuck in the middle of the track, it suddenly gets very, very narrow.
Well, and we have to remember the speeds that they're doing here. We're talking 180 miles an hour when they're approaching, at least for the Nissans. Oh, yeah, just nowhere to go.
Yeah, you sort of become a passenger at the point where you sort of have to accept the fact that you might not just make it through that one, and yeah, that sad look of the engine bay just being completely bare. And we can see here there's another angle of the same accident, and you can just see how quickly things turn on its head, and it's just sheer chaos.
Yeah, they're lucky more drivers weren't involved in that. They're doing about 120, 125 coming off of turn 2 there. So very little chance to try and get out of the way of that one. And they are allowing drivers through to try and split the field here. So let's see, do they have lights out on the pace car? Looks like lights are still on, so they still got some time to try and get this all sorted out. Again, they will split the classes on the restart to help kind of limit some of the chaos. But right now, Hugh Haycock still leading in the GTPs, Lettiniemi leading in the GTOs. It is Alex Millward second up in the prototypes, and down in the Audis, Ian Haycox is also faring decently well. But we're barely 5 minutes in. We've already seen at least 2 major accidents so far, Rob, and drivers probably trying to find those sea legs out there,
Trying to figure out how they're going to pilot their cars around more than anything else, because as we've seen, when the accidents happen, they happen quick and they happen fast, and you have to be absolutely on edge the majority of the time.
Getting some chatter amongst the drivers. Yeah, they're just making sure everybody's aware of the situation on getting the fields split. And, oh, well, I thought this was going to be single file restart, but I'm seeing our drivers double up. Well, okay, that'll make it a little bit more interesting on the restarts then. Drivers will have better opportunity to try and get through and gain some positions. Question is, how aggressive do you want to be in that situation, considering you're probably going to find chances in the race itself under green flag conditions when they hit that traffic. We'll see who try and sends it into the first corner as the pace car leads them up to the pit entrance. Haycock's going to be given control once again. There goes the pace car. Green flag is out, and Haycock's definitely held him up quite a bit, and that allows Laust Olsen to get to the inside of Millward. John Keefe going to try and take advantage as well. He's not able to get through. Let's go back to the start of the GTOs.
Ian Haycock's absolutely blitzed the start there, and he was out and away, and he got clear of Esko Lemonetti very quickly, so he did a very good job getting that start that he wanted, as Leskela is trying to fend off the group of 2 of Hamel Smith and Dominic Bruo, as Dominic is trying to hold on as best he can to that position, and it's a group of melee of 4 as they try and get past the lap. They do indeed very cleanly. Just it's a shake-up, really. It's like pouring pepper on a very, very neutral dish. The oval is just making these drivers sort of shake about and just move about as Ian Haycock pushes the fastest lap so far.
And look at Leskela around the outside. He's been working on this for a lap and a half. Oh, but he smacks the wall. And Lettiniemi and Riley Thompson get back through. How damaged is Leskela after that contact?
He is probably going to count his lucky stones that wasn't much worse, because that was quite a hard hit against the wall. And just
sorry, we got to go to Millward. Millward just had an accident, but he's off the racing line. We'll see if they throw a caution, and they do. Looks like he got involved with Oren Laskin. The leaders were just catching the back of the GTO field, and there was a huge checkup for Hugh Haycox, who saw drivers on both lanes. And unfortunately for Alex Millward, once we get to the replay here, that 20 car tried to thread the needle and discovered just how dangerous it can be trying to shoot the gap.
Yeah, and then with these cars as they are, we can just see the replay here. Threading the needle is about as impossible. Oh, yeah, that was not going to work. I don't think. I think he was asking a bit too much of the car, and poor Oren Laskin. He's not got much else place to go, and with the speed difference as well, it's going to be the you know, we talked about this before, where you have NASCAR where the closing speed is measured in about 4 or 5 miles an hour through the slipstream. Here it's like 40 or 50. I see there. Ooh.
Yeah, I saw a chance, and unfortunately, the risk taken turned into less of a reward than he expected. He's come in and taken his spare car. Is going to be able to get back out, I think, on the lead lap. Yes, he will. So just barely out in front of the pace car, which means we have only 3 drivers in the GTPs that are a lap down. However, unfortunately, the GTOs are not quite the same, with many of them multiple laps down as they once again get sorted out behind the pace car. Laust Olsen, how about that restart, though? We talked a lot, Rob, about drivers needing to try and adapt to these this oval style of racing. That was a really heads-up restart from the 37 to snatch that second place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He sort of looked up and went, "Oh yeah, this is a race now. I gotta go." And put his right foot down and didn't stop. And he's up into second, just behind Hugh Haycock. As we see, Hugh is just sort of he does it on the road, and then he does it in the ovals, and it's masterclass to see him there. Just put the rubber stamp of approval on, his rubber stamp of approval on the performance that he's done so far, because he's commanded the race. He's led all 17 laps so far of the GTPs. We've just gone 10 minutes gone, by the way. So we're just 1/6 of the way there. 2 cautions.
Indeed, and I'm seeing if, Daniel Sadro is in and is taking repairs. He's not taking his spare car, though. Not sure if he's going to be able to get back out before the pace car unless he leaves prematurely or has got that fixed a lot faster than I would have expected. But Sadro, the latest one, trying to deal there. You see, okay, he is rolling, so he didn't take too much time. He's had that since the first lap. He was a part of that big incident that we saw out of turns 1 and 2. And he's been dealing with it since then, but I guess he decided that was too much to bear and finally had them pound away at that sheet metal. Meanwhile, we're watching Haycock's lead Olsen and Keefe up at the front with the lights out. We are going green next time by.
Just another thing as well, but Daniel Sadro probably is doing the smart thing right now, because if he can keep pounding away at if it continues to have cautions, he keeps sort of keeping out of harm's way, he can still continue to pound away at the sheet metal and get it straightened out and fix some of the more than cosmetic damage that he has. He doesn't need to use his fast repair, so he can be very tactical about it. It opens the tactical window to a tactical flood if you use your fast repair very, very gingerly.
Real quick, can we get a close-up on the 444? Because remember, he hit the wall coming out of turn 4 earlier. I kind of want to see if we can spot any damage from that angle. Doesn't look bad. Looks like on the right front, driver's right front, just seen a tiny little bit. So maybe he's okay. But the pace car is now pulling in, and the green flag is out, and it's another great jump from Hugh. Meanwhile, Laust Olsen is going to get a taste of his own medicine, because here comes John Keefe to take that second place away on the restart, and it looks like he's got it done. Is behind them, way around the outside. That was Ben Lafter. Let's go to the GTOs.
In the GTOs, Ian Haycock's under threat from Esco in the car number 74 on the inside, coming through the number 2, having to hold on to it very tightly indeed, as everybody around him is trying to hand him. Yuka Laskela and Michael Haynes out of nowhere, by the way, is coming up to join the party and upset the apple cart, as it were, and it's 2x2s all the way down to 8th, I think. Oh, he missed the gear shift from Ian Haycock. That's going to cost him.
Still 2x2 down through 1 and 2. And on the inside, Letaniemi just barely holding a nose ahead for most of the lap beside him. Ian Haycock's not willing to give up as Leskala back there in fourth drops back a tiny bit. Is he trying to set up the corner exit here? That's Riley Thompson to his bottom side. This time he keeps it out of the wall. Now they're starting to single file though as Letaniemi is solidly in the lead.
Bit of a mistake for me, and Haycock's just cost him time, effort, and money, and just an absolute. It's sort of all gone wrong for Ian Haycock's on that restart because he sort of was up in arms about it, and then had a good start, and then on the next lap by, he had a very wide line coming. Oh!
Was that Letaniemi hitting the walls? They almost go 4 wide down in the first turn. Little bit of contact. Letaniemi has to catch it. He goes to the Leskala, and there's a big pileup with our leaders, and the GTPs getting collected now.
No, that is an upside down car, and there's more carnage as everybody's sort of trying to, as the caution flies, by the way. Oh dear Lord. Yeah, that's
This all started with that 74 smacking the exit of turn 4. Many of driver have done, both oval experts and amateurs. And unfortunately, it all kind of trickled down from there as Ben Laughter does not look like he is in a good state.
I don't think he's laughing now. He's going to get me after this race for that joke. But as I said many times before about Ben Laughter, he's always laughing. He's always got the last laugh, but I don't think he's going to have the last laugh this time by, unfortunately, because it just it all started here, and then everybody sort of got checked up, as they say in NASCAR. Look at me using NASCAR terms, and then just a little bit of a door sends the 444 into the wall. And what car was that?
There's a few of them in the air, I can say. Alex Millward got hit a second time. That sent him up. Ben Laughter definitely caught a little bit. Looks like Letaniemi wound up on his lid.
Yeah, that was, that, as we said before, the speed difference is just sheer chaos, because especially when you have something like this, and the closing distance is measured in milliseconds rather than seconds, you're going to have a situation where the crash happens, you're already there. There's no point in... Well, not no point, but there's very little time that you have. Look how quickly this happens. There he is. There's the accident right in front of him. And there's nothing you can do. The 74 is just right there, ready to greet him. And that 74 was, I think that was, Esko Lehemeshi. And Hugh Haycock's is gone.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, Hugh Haycock's is DNF'd. Looks like... I think we had, is there another one? Thought I saw, no, just Hugh Haycock's, unfortunately.
He's not taking the fast repair either.
Well, Hugh Haycock's got through there. Trying to figure out what exactly happened there.
I think there might be something else. He was driving fine, and then gone.
Now, I see that the stewards had removed him. I did not hear any sort of chatter from him, or I didn't see anything untowards. I'm hoping that's a mistake. If so, that's a bit of a very unfortunate mistake. But yeah, wow. So promotes John Keefe up to the point in the GTPs. Now, we have to remember, John Keefe is a big IndyCar fan, and Indy does race on ovals, so he could be one to watch out for here. He might have a few tricks up his sleeve.
Though I will say, in Keefe's sort of...
Did a number of them. Getting ready to go green once again. Oren Laskin sitting stationary down at the bottom of the track. I don't know what that is about. We'll try and investigate in a bit as the pace car pulls in. And John Keefe is off. And he's the first one to really be savvy to know that he does not have to wait for that green flag. He can go as soon as that pace car is gone. And that gave him a good jump over Sintez Galindo. A little bit of battling behind them in some of the GTPs, but let's go to the GTOs.
Ian Haycock's holding very steady, got away very, very quickly, and Devin Donaghy was caught sleeping, basically at the wheel. And by the way, and Michael Haynes up and at him just ever so slightly, and the gap is closing now. But Ian Haycock's for one great lap managed to get off very, very nicely, with Daniel Sadro in the car 51 coming back to the fight.
Krejcik and Cox made a little bit of contact. Cox has since come into pit lane to try and get repairs as we watch John Keefe lead the way here on lap 30 with about a second roughly over Sintez Galindo, still giving chase. We're only 20 minutes into today's event. There you see Cox taking some of his repairs. Ian Haycock's in the meantime down in the GTOs, about 0.7 of a second ahead of Donaghy. But look at the GTPs already catching up to the tail end of the GTO field.
And through quickly they go, but oh, that is going to be a high line for John Keefe, having to avoid cars going 2x2. Again, cars going 2x2. He has to navigate them as gingerly as possible. That's not gingerly there. The cars with the 71 sort of throwing caution to the wind. Oh, dearie me.
Oh, and unfortunately it bit him. He just made a little bit of contact, and there's more wrecks happening behind him. That is Nick Mukanos getting spun around. He collects it. Somehow nobody else gets involved. No caution yet.
I just want to see if we can possibly get a look at that incident with Keefe, because we only just saw the aftermath, and he's already lost the position. He's trailing now quite substantially. He's lost a lot of speed. I am pretty sure he's dealing with damage.
He's severely damaged. He's falling down to fourth already. And the 71 is limping. So Sintez Galindo is your new leader in the GTPs. There is John Keefe. And it is severe damage on the car. Looks like it's at least handling enough that he can keep going around, but he's down on the apron. So I think he's going to get that free repair, and he is in.
Yep. Coming in now, has to hit the cones. The speed limit is still in place for these cars. They can't just charge through. Sintez Galindo, by the way, again catching up to another set of GTOs. A bit crazy. Oh, a bit crazy right now as he tries to lap a... I thought that was a McLaren liveried GTP. I was about to have some questions for it, but not to worry, it isn't, as he has to navigate inside and out of all of these other GTOs.
He's caught the GTO field once again as he goes around the outside of Michael Haynes. It's going to get a little bit thicker here now as he reaches some of the upper echelons of that Audi field. And he is, wow, just picking his way by masterfully here, finding the openings at just the right time. Up next, Donaghy. He'll be able to find the inside, but it's a side-by-side battle between Thompson and Lescala, and he makes it 3 wide all the way up to the wall and somehow gets through.
I'm pretty sure if people are going to take away anything from this race, it is heart and mouth and scream. Because I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of these drivers are doing as they're driving past into the corners. Because, oh dear me, it's not for the faint of heart driving these cars around this track. Oh dear, no.
Well, that was Mike Reuter, who seems to have had a problem of some sort. Oh yeah, he made contact with Laus Olsen last lap. Olsen got spun, and a little bit of damage for each of them. That has allowed Olsen up into second. Reuter falls down to third, as now Olsen is trying to get past the lapped car of Doug Cloud. He's a full 12 seconds off of Sintez Galindo. The traffic management of the 122 car has been off the charts today.
Off the charts and out of sight, because he's now actually coming around. He's already past the halfway mark for the lap itself, so he's actually... the 37 can't see him, and the 37 as well. I would have thought that was a lot more than just a little bit of damage. That is substantial amount of damage. That is the kind of thing that would actually throw a flag for repairs. I would have thought anyway.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Olsen's got as good a speed as he does, as we got a wreck on the front stretch.
Doug Cloud.
What happened here? He's missing his front clip. Oh, he made contact into the back of Krejcik coming out of turn 4. This is a bit of a strange incident. Almost looked like Krejcik had to try and catch the car. You're going to see here in the replay, Cloud was not anticipating this checkup. Wow, that was a big hit for Cloud.
I can see why these cars don't usually do ovals. By the way, caution's out. You can just see Barney waving the yellow flag there. Just, oh, yeah, the speed difference was actually substantial because Doug was, you know, he was actually doing very well and pushed, you know, he was pushing at top speed for the car. And then just the car ahead was just having to check up substantially. And with the speed difference that generated within a second, it was about 30 or 40 kilometers an hour. That's not unsubstantial.
Certainly isn't. So we're down to 4 drivers left on the lead lap now in the GTPs. That's Sintez, Galindo, Olsen, Reuter, and Laughter. As for the GTOs, it looks like we've got 8 of them on the lead lap. That's Ian Haycox, Thompson, Donaghy, Sadro, Bureau, Permits, Hamelsmith, and Haynes. So almost to about halfway here, and we've reached all the way up to lap 42 for our leaders, and the GTPs. GTO is still on lap 38. Only 4 laps down is actually kind of impressive at this stage. I think the cautions have certainly helped with that to an extent. So let's see, we got a lot of cars coming into pit lane here. Looks like that is Nick Mukanos having to take some more repairs. Krejcik, no surprise there, and Laust Olsen as well. Going to try and do what he can to get that thing back into the proper shape. The good news for Laust is he is the last one with his spare car. Let's see if he uses that here. At least in the prototype field, the last one with a spare car with him. And yes, it pops back into place. He is going to use it. So he'll be able to get back out onto track and get rolling.
I don't think he had a choice because just the sheer amount of damage that Olsen had on that car. I was so surprised that he didn't get a flag for meatball, even because I don't think any panel was present on that GTP that was you know, good. if words could describe it, it was like crinkle cut chips on his car.
So looks like he was a lap down at one point, so he has really recovered. This is definitely a case of never give up, because Sintez, Galindo, and Laughter both have to take their spare car. Both been involved in major accidents, and yet are going to be our front row on the restart. It's a very small group, select group, that have not run into trouble in the GTOs. Haycox has not used his spare car. I see Sadro, Bureau, and Hamelsmith, and that is the scant few who have remained squeaky clean. What happened to Reuter?
Whoa! What?
Reuter suddenly came through the field, almost spun his car, and he managed not to hit anything, but wow, that was weird. And we're going to get a restart, so it looks like the pace car is rolling. Green flag is out, and Sintez Galindo leads them away. Ben Laughter did not get the jump on him as they go single file very quickly. Let's look at the GTOs.
Ian Haycox, unfortunately, this time around did not get the jump, and Riley Thompson is on his inside to pressure his day in. Oh no, sorry, that's a lapped car actually on his inside. On the rear end right hand side, you see there on your screen is 56 of Riley Thompson going to battle, is in the middle of 2 other cars. The 00 of Reed Miller is on the rear end side of Ian Haycox. He's just a little bit of a tap there from Ian, trying to get that inside line, trying to defend himself, as Riley is on his outside hounding him for position.
Reed really wants that lap back, but he's not going to get it. He backs off, and now Riley Thompson tries around the outside, coming into turn 4, sends it in deep. Ian Haycock still fights with them down on the inside as they come through 3 and 4. And Reed Miller is going to enter the pits as they continue on, nearly a brush of the outside wall for Riley Thompson, but he's in the lead.
Just about, and just by the whiskers of the car itself, and he just there passing by very close indeed, having to tuck it in, as we see just a scramble now as Ian Haycox backs off, probably trying to regroup and recuperate as the... Oh!
Got a big wreck on the back stretch. Are they going to be able to keep from a caution? He's off the racing line. Michael Haynes comes to a halt. And I think, yeah, he's going to take a tow because of that. So we are going to stay green as Laust Olsen around the outside of Sintez Galindo tries to give chase. The lead has gone to Ben Laughter since we last looked.
Ben Laughter, absolutely in the chaos that is this race, has now had the last laugh and has gotten himself into first, and through the traffic that has presented itself to Laus and to Aitor Sintez Galindo, the two of them have fallen back a good ways, about a second and a half now at this point, and off they go, really, as Ben Laughter is just trying to survive, really, at this point.
Yeah, Ben does have oval experience. He's been running the Next Gen Cup cars over in the Outsider Racing League on Saturday nights the past month or so. So that experience is shining through for him. And I'm not too shocked that Riley Thompson as well is leading in the GTOs, because the Total Downforce Racing team is a team with multi-experience, but it looks like he just almost caused an accident himself with Riley Cox and Mike Reuter coming into three-wide contact as they come around into 3 and 4 now.
And by the way, in Riley Thompson's case, he is ahead by just over 2.5 seconds as Yuko Leskela tries to battle with Daniel Sadro for second place, as that is going to be Leskela on the outside. Tucking in on the inside is Daniel Sadro, but Sadro unfortunately just doesn't have the legs as Leskela continues to try and pass him for that second spot and trying. Oh, there he goes. Look at that launch.
Yeah, send it in deep as our leader in the GTPs goes by. This is a couple of them for position. Is all 4 for position? Lesko, Sadro, Bureau, Donaghy. Yes, it is. And Haycock. So 5 of them. And unfortunately, getting caught up in that Laust Olsen, causing an almighty wreck. And that is definitely a caution.
Yeah. And I do think that would be a big ouchies. Yeah. That was a very hard hit, and I think we will see a retirement from Laust Olsen. That was probably what has ended his car right there in the...
Yep. Yeah, he's already lost his spare car, so this is probably day done for him. Poor Daniel Satro and Dominique Bureau were kind of innocent victims in that one. They were just kind of minding their own business, and Olsen licked the stamp and sent it. Unfortunately, he missed the mailbox.
And and he's got it back. No, he hasn't. Yeah. That's John Keefe. That's John Keefe. You remember when we had in the Hungaroring when he had the hat? I don't think the hat's going to be the ground now, if I'm going to be honest. That does look like a bit of an oops right there. I mean, let's have a look again from his perspective. Gone. Yeah, as soon as he came around the corner, that was it.
Wow, and just scooted along his lid until he hit the wall, and also probably day done for him. That means we have 0 cars left with their spare car. Everybody has used it at this point. That's what.
Haycox hasn't.
Well, excuse me. Yes, you're right. That is in the GTPs. None of them have the spare car left. But Ian Haycox, and I see Jamie Hamill-Smith. Dan Sadro has not used his, but he's sitting in pit lane. He was involved in that incident. I suspect that is going to go away on his.
I'm looking at some of these cars in the pit lane, and yeah. Some of them have seen better days. If words like a car anymore, it looks like the kind of car that would be like scrapped from metal. It's quite honestly, some of these cars really do have, if they're going to go out again because they've already used their spare, it is going to be a monumental job to put them all back together. And that's not even getting to the case of if they have real damage, like suspension damage, steering rack damage. The steering rack damage would be catastrophic for these cars, for the GTPs especially, because if they start crabbing, that's it. I mean, you basically can't really properly get that right. It's not going to go 100% anymore.
And there was a bit of a joke amongst the drivers before the green that this is going to be last man standing. You know, it might actually turn out to be that way. Whoever can limp their car home might take the checkered flag. It kind of makes me wonder if more of the prototypes have issues. If we might even see a GTO winner, considering they've been taking care of the machines a little bit better. As we go double up, and we're getting ready to go green once again.
By the way, Ben Laughter, again, he survived the second caution in P1. He just needs to keep launching himself off the start line and going for gold. And, you know, just, I think that's his plan. Go for gold, avoid wrecks as best you can, and if possible, you know, top off fuel, you know, if you can, top off petrol, top off your diesel, top off your tires as well.
All right. And did they go single file this time? Nope. Okay. They
thought about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's almost like up to third place, last one on the lead lap in that GTP field. Clean start for them. Let's go to the GTOs.
Yeah, clean start was not on the books here because it's been a melee since the start. Ian Acox has having to hold behind a lapped car ahead of him, but he did get away quite cleanly in these 8/10 of a second, so he's got plenty of time to think about overtaking, and there he goes, overtaking into clean air. But what Devin Donaghy is doing right now is pushing the car into 56 towards Jamie Hannell-Smith as Devin Donaghy looks to upset the Appa car. And oh, he launched himself really deep into that corner. He wants that P1.
Yeah, he is eager to try and get the lap back as Nick Mukanos and Devin Donaghy eager to try and overtake for the lead as he manages to get by Nick now down into 3 and 4. They're going to be joined by our GTPs pretty soon, I'm certain. And that is going to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. 23 minutes left on the clock. Can they survive this race?
Can they? That's a good question. But Ben Laughter, if he continues as he is, he's been doing... It's not been the fastest ever, but I don't think that's going to be a good thing. If he continues... Oh, just... Avoid. As you can just see, that's going to be too wide. No. What are you doing on the inside? What?
He made it through. Sintez Galindo follows him, trying to get down to the inside of some of our GTOs. The car squirms underneath him, but Ben Laughter holds on and still has the lead. But Aitor is giving chase.
Aitor Sintez Galindo. Oh, no. That's an accident.
A big one. And is that Cope flipping there?
That's Mike Reuter.
It is.
With a very damaged front end, yeah.
Looks like, that started in front of him. It was Cope involved in it. He made contact with Bureau. And that was through turns 1 and 2. Unfortunately, seems to be a number of cases today where the GTPs just don't anticipate the difference in speed, and when they find the track without an opening, getting woed up in time is proving supremely difficult.
Yeah, and it's that closing speed, I think, really, more than anything else. It's the closing speed that's causing this to happen, and you can just see that. Just
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a barrel roll that you wouldn't want to have happen.
That was a bump somewhere that he found. I think that was the curb there from the infield course that he hit and sent him absolutely flying.
Probably, I think he's probably going to thank his lucky stars that that was all that happened, because that could have sent him straight into the pits if he had just look at this. Just yep, there's the fence.
Thank goodness this is virtual. This is reminding me of, there is a famous tagline for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was who will survive and what will be left of them, and that's kind of what's coming to mind here.
It was pretty nervous. I was also grabbing my seat, the armrest in my seat, as I saw Ben Laughter going on the inside near pit road on the start finish straight. Oh dear.
What's the Martin Brundle line? He was hiding behind his couch watching the TV.
Oh yeah, that's. I think that if I had a couch, that is exactly what it would be doing. I'd just be with my microphone in my hands, just going, "I can't look."
All right. Well, let's see. We are down to 20 cars left. It looks like 19 cars left. No, even less than that, because Reuter has now left the session. So we've got 18 cars running out of our 26 starters. And it has Ben Laughter leading in the GTPs, Ian Haycox leading in the GTOs.
I don't think there was anything that Reuter could do to that car to fix it, because it would have just, I don't know, there would have been chaos trying to get the panels back together on that one. It'd been like Humpty Dumpty sat to the wall, except it's now a GTP sat on the wall. GTP had a great fall, and all of the Nissan drivers and engineers couldn't put the GTP together again.
Okay, and I believe our lights out here. Yes, they are. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get restarted once again, and I think they have officially switched to single file. Double checking to see if that was noted up here in the stuff by the stewards, and I'm not seeing it, so not sure if that's just the drivers doing it manually on their own volition. But regardless, I'm sure it'll at least help some of it. And, well, Sintez Galindo is going to still try and go too wide as he comes up to the side of Ben Laughter. There goes the pace car, and the green flag is out. Still a very good jump out of Ben. Ever since a few laps ago, maybe a couple dozen laps.
Car number 108 of Dominic Verro, as Esco Lemonetti comes into the pits to take a repair. But it is going to be helter-skelter between the car 23 and the 108 back there. You can just see it there. Oh, as we can see the leaders. Oh!
They come together. Haycox and Donaghy get together, and Haycox is able to keep going, but he's slow. Riley Thompson will inherit the lead. No caution yet as he tries to get the car righted. And it looks like we will stay green here. Haycox continues in second place. He managed to get away with it, but Donaghy can't say the same.
Yeah, Ian Haycox's car, but is not looking too good. It's actually crabbing. It's grabbing to the right.
Oh, let's go to the GTP leaders because it is... Oh, as Ian Haycox gets hit, Sintez Galindo has to check up, but he's saved by the bell as the caution finally comes out. Ben Laughter had a huge escape here. Let's get a replay of this one. The 64 somehow found just a car's width between the curb and I think Nick Mukanos trying to squeak by.
That was so unfortunate. He was trying to get back, and and the closing speed and just sheer chaos. Yeah, it just enveloped him, and then he just had nowhere to go. Like, where do you go in a place like that? You can't really go on the inside. There's too many cars. You can't go on the outside. There's too many cars. You can't go on the apron. You might risk a biscuit and slide out. And yeah, just as you can see, that's the 444, by the way, going and getting tagged, and the 444 being of Yuko Leskela.
We get an onboard of Ben Laughter. I'd love to see this run through the chaos from him. Here it is. And this is just, once again, expertly timed. Look at how quickly he approaches through the middle, through the inside. Oh, my goodness. I thought for sure he was going to get wrecked in there.
I thought he was. You know, he's risking a biscuit, and that in the terms would be, you know, throwing caution to the wind more than anything else. But I mean, he is doing one big thing. He's slowing down. He's actually not just placing his right foot down hard on the ground and then just leaving it there. He did actually check up and slow down, trying to feather his way through and try and get the best racing line. But Heitor Sintez Galindo, as long as he's within a lap, he's got the chance. And with 15 minutes to go, anything can happen.
Looks like we've got one of our retirees with us, John Keefe, going to join us here in a second, and we'll get his thoughts as someone who's been down on ground level, having to get in the trenches and try and fight this war. So I'd love to hear from his perspective on that. Here we go. It looks like we've got John with us now. John, commiserations that your races ended early. What is it like from inside the car trying to race out there today? Because from up here, it just looks like utter chaos.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I won't lie. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's from a GTP perspective, like when you're coming up to the Audis, you just have to think so far ahead. And obviously, I made a mistake going around the outside of Nick on the exit in my incident. You know, not the way I wanted the race to go, obviously, but it was definitely enjoyable. I used up my my one fast repair, then I got caught up in a second wreck, so I'm done for the day, unfortunately. But it's a lot of fun. Really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a bit sad to see you out so early, but we've been making a big deal out of who's got the oval experience out here. And I know you're a big IndyCar fan. I mean, does that oval knowledge help whatsoever in this, or is this just a completely different beast?
I mean, it does as far as pace, but yeah, completely different beast with the mixed class aspect of this. So yeah, it was something that we discussed. You know, there was always a little talk about wanting to try it one day, and we chose to give it a shot. So hopefully it's enjoyable to watch.
It's been fun, I'll tell you that. Real quick before we go, Green, give me a prediction. Who's looking good on the win for each class?
I love seeing Riley Thompson in this race, so I'm going to pull for him GTO, and let's see how GTP fans out here. Good luck.
That was John Keefe as the green flag comes out, and Ben Laughter is on it. Once again, great start over Sintez Galindo. Looks like we're up to 4 cars on the lead lap as Cope and Cox follow them through. Let's go to the GTOs.
Yeah, GTOs, Dominic Breau is not letting Riley Thompson have a free race, if I'm going to be honest, because he has gotten from, he went from all the way back in the middle of the pack. He's now just exploded out of nowhere and is now pushing Riley Thompson, to get up and going, because there is Silver Pume and Jamie Hamill-Smith. Remember, Jamie Hamill-Smith needs to unlap himself. There's only 3 cars on the lead lap, so you know, out of the 3 of them, they've got a scramble of people right behind them, ready to take it to the next level and ready to get back those laps. And they're not going to be shy about wanting to do battle either between themselves. Oh, Dreamy, it's getting closer. Oh, crikey.
And Thompson also had a very good restart. He restarted in second, and Bureau lost the lead on that one. So great job by the 56 being heads up on that one, as we watch Ben Laughter now starting to catch up to the tail end of that GTO field. Mika Tupola is going to be the first amongst them, and they immediately approach a bunch of side-by-side racing.
Keeping it nice and tidy is going to be very difficult. Oh, Ben Laughter is trying to navigate all the way around and around the outside, and has to do the exact same thing again. Look at the GTPs sort of having to tuck in as best they can, but oh, the closing speed is such that you basically have a split-second decision, and it can go 50-50, and if you get it wrong, not only are you and the trailing car going to get wrecked, it's going to cause a massive accident, and other people can get wrecked as well.
So Ben Laughter managed to get through, and so did Sintez Galindo. Looks like Cox was not as successful, as he's already about 5 seconds back. Got checked up just a little bit. We're down to the final 10 minutes of this race as well. So it is coming down to the wire at this point. If you want to make moves, you got to start making moves soon. And for Riley Thompson, this is fantastic news, because he's already up to 3.2 seconds ahead of his nearest rival.
It just needs to keep ahead. That's all he needs to do, because if he can continue to keep being ahead, and the other thing as well, the caution must not fly again. Because, I mean, if the caution flies again, brings back Dominic Breau back into the mix of things. By the way, Silver Pyramid is actually going very slow.
Yeah, it looks like he was into the wall after a little bit of contact with Hamill Smith in 3 and 4. Don't need to go to a replay on that one, but that caused him a little bit of damage, unfortunately. And Ian Haycox is wrecked on the front stretch, and that brings out the caution. So from leading earlier on to now, finding himself in another little issue. I think that might be day done for him. He had a little bit of help, unfortunately, on this one. I think John Cope made some contact.
Yeah, just one tap. That's all it takes to ruin the car, and he's not got a fast spare.
And we need an onboard from Nick Mukanos in the 50 machine. He had a miraculous escape. Here's the incident. Watch for a white and yellow car here.
Oh! Yeah, you just saw it there. Oh, dearie me.
We talked about so little time to react with the speed so high here. This is a perfect case. Wow! Cat-like reflexes.
We'll more than likely have to, check his vocal cords, because he was probably screaming as the car was trying to get by. I mean, I would be screaming, just sheer to the fact that a car has stopped right in front of me, and I'm millimeters away from being wrecked myself.
And I mean, all you could see was smoke there, and to survive some of this chaos. But I'm looking at Ben Laughter. There is some damage on the right rear wing there, so he's not gone perfectly clean.
To be fair, in a case like this, how could you go perfectly clean? It's possible.
Sit in the pits, probably.
Yes, yeah. That's probably what I would do. I would probably just be the pace car on myself, because I'd be guaranteed then to not have an accident. And also, you get to drive around at good tame speeds of I think 86 kilometers an hour.
Okay then. Well, looks like the experience really is paying dividends here, because as we said, Ben Laughter with the oval experience, he's out leading. Riley Thompson as well is up towards the point. However, both of them have been dealing with a fair bit of pressure from behind. In the case of Ben Laughter, Sintez Galindo has not been let go. And those two, really, I don't think they've been farther than, about 2 seconds apart for much of the second half of this race. And then Thompson has been able to put some air between himself and the 108s, but the cautions keep bringing in Bureau and closing that gap in once again.
I think it's a bit of a melee out there right now, because you've got the top 4 in GTPs battling for first. You've got the top 3 in GTOs battling for first, and every time they come around, they're still clumped up. The GTOs are still clumped up, whereas the GTP sort of start fanning out a little bit more. So, and it's a case of how on earth are they going to manage it this time around, especially with only 5 minutes to go? That's not a lot of time. It's going to be interesting to see, I think.
It really will. And let's see if the lights go off this time by as we cross the start-finish line. They do indeed.
It came off the corner. Remember, he's lapped, so he's sort of having to play second ball to the rest of them and just get out of the way as best he can.
Yeah, thankfully they're finally getting pretty single file at this point. I think our leaders are getting close to catching up within this lap to the back of that group, and that could change the nature of this. We're down to 4 minutes left to go now. A good run. The traffic or the damage has slowed down. Ben Laughter and Sintez Galindo is your new leader.
Yep, that is going to be damage. Unfortunately, he is down about 20 Ks. And the car is now very unstable. That damage has been crucial. Ben Laughter, will he still maintain the podium though? Because 3 seconds back and closing fast is the car of Wiley Cox, and Ovid Trangrade is just behind them as well. So Ben's got a big old problem coming up now within the next 2 minutes.
Like I said, it's all about survival, and Laughter seems to have discovered that one the hard way. And Sintez Galindo is on it. He has set his fastest lap of the race last lap. In fact, he's, I think, improved it the last 2 times. So the 122 is not sitting around on this one. He wants to try and get as much of a gap as he can. Again, a caution would end it as the timer would tick down to 0 before we get back to green from here. Oh, and that was very close with Sintez Galindo there with Donaghy.
Yeah, and Ben Laughter has got a problem. It's 2 minutes to go, and Ove Trangrade and Wiley Cox have closed the gap down to 1.6 seconds, and they're fighting each other now as Ove Trangrade now gets into the podium position. If the pace continues as it is, Ben Laughter will not be in the podiums. Oh, that is going to be a split and a hair, and oh my goodness, from myself, because that was a split of a lap car himself and a GTO. And look at this, here comes Ove Trangrade.
Trangrade's got pace. He's recovered from that early incident, got himself back into things, and he's caught up to Ben Laughter, looking at a second place. He usually does quite well on the oval races in the Lotus 49. And Trangrade, the Norwegian, has now got himself on the second step on the podium.
Trangrade passing Ben Laughter, and now Ben Laughter will not have the last lap as Wiley Cox makes the move onto his inside. Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't make the move. GTPs are coming through a group of GTOs now.
I think we're going to be 3 to go next time by. If we stay green, that is. It's coming down to it. Trangrade probably not going to catch up to Sintez Galindo as it's up to 8 seconds. Riley Thompson as well has got himself a nice gap over Bureau of about 5.5 seconds. Under a minute left as Sintez Galindo leads the way. He stayed patient, he stayed safe, and he might reap the rewards in just about a lap and a half's time.
And Thompson, that gap is just getting bigger and bigger. As long as there's not another caution. Well, actually, no, caution will actually just secure the results, I think. But Ben Laughter is... Oh, poor Ben Laughter. He's trying so hard to hang on. He's trying so hard. With all of his might, he's trying so much. But I think Wiley Cox has finally done it.
White flag going to be out for Sintez Galindo as he comes around. Oh, but he's got his own issues. He had to check up big time behind Daniel Sadro. He's just trying to keep this car in one piece, but he also has to try and stay ahead of Ove Trangrade, who's probably charging as hard as he can. There's Trangrade taking the white flag as well. Sintez Galindo is caught in a mess of GTOs, but he is playing extremely patient. He's giving up seconds at a time, but he can afford to, as he is going to take the checkered flag and the win here today. Riley Thompson is going to be the last one on the lead lap behind him for the win in the GTOs.
And as he comes through, Riley Thompson, after a melee of all that is melee at the start for the GTOs, has come through. I don't think anybody, was expecting it, but here he is crossing the line, winning for the GTOs.
Well, that was an experience, to say the least, as he celebrates with a beautiful drift down through 1 and 2, even getting the grass in there. Nicely done, Riley. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We, for the first time, experienced sports cars in multi-class on an oval, and it was something to behold. Aitor Sintez Galindo came away with the victory here today by about 5.5 seconds, tiptoeing his way around at the end just to try and get to the end safely. Obe Trangarade somehow came back and got himself into P2 after all was said and done, with Wiley Cox rounding out the podium. Poor Ben Laughter leading on the final restart, and a little bit of contact with an ambitious move with the outside wall cost him speed, and he had to settle for fourth last on the lead lap. It was Martin Krejcik who finished fifth in that class, and then from there, I believe it's all DNFs. If not, drivers finished from multiple laps down. Cope, Reuter, Olsen, Keefe, Cloud, Haycox, and Millward. What about the GTO field here, Rob?
In the GTOs, it will go, the victory at least, will go to Riley Thompson after a melee of issues throughout that field, with Dominic Briol taking up second place, and third will be Jamie Hamill-Smith, who, remember, was actually right down the bottom of the field for a while, but Daniel Sadro in fourth position. Esko Lehmeti didn't actually, it kind of went all wrong for him, I would have thought, but he did finally get back up there in the field. In fifth position, Mika Tupelo in sixth, Nicholas Mukanos in seventh. Then in eighth is Devin Donny, after a promising mid-section of the race, fell backwards into eighth with a Silver Pierre in ninth. Ian Haycox, we saw what happened to him, unfortunately, down in 10th. Hugo Lascala in 11th, with Oren Laskin in 12th. And then we get down to the people that did retire. Michael Haynes and Reed Miller did not take the checkered flag.
Looks like we got our fourth place finisher ready to talk to us from the prototypes, Ben Laughter. And unfortunately, not able to finish on the podium after leading all the way up to the final restart. Ben, I'm sure it stings a little bit, but with this one mainly being for fun, what do you take away in the end?
How much fun a Nissan is around an oval. It was a lot of fun driving this car around this particular track. I think it's a blast. The multi-class element doesn't work so well, but that was a heck of a lot of fun. I smiled the whole way.
We were smiling too, although certainly a few times where we had some shouting from inside the booth. What about inside the cockpit? Were there enough times to frazzle your nerves that you're done with this for a while?
Yeah, shouting requires breath in the lungs. I couldn't breathe. It was it was absolutely intense. I mean, it's these things drive a lot like an IndyCar around here in my mind, and so you're wandering around at IndyCar speeds, and then suddenly there's a Miata parked in the apex, and you just got to make so many snap decisions so many times per lap. It's absolutely bananas, but a lot of fun. I really appreciate Joe and Phil putting this on together. I know that this was a lot of work for Phil today.
Yeah, and credit to him. We'll get to talk to him in a second, actually. Ben, commiserations that it wasn't a podium finish. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'll just blame Nick. I tried to go around the outside of him. He didn't give me room, so it's his fault, obviously. But no, I thought I could win this thing. I thought I had a little bit of pace in traffic on Aitor, and I just got that bit of damage at the end and didn't do anything. So shout out to you guys, as always, for putting on a fun show. I look forward to watching this. I wish I had gotten the win, but shout out to the whole Camel community. I'll see you soon.
That was Ben Laughter, fourth place. And the winner in the GTPs was Aitor Sintez Galindo. Rob has caught up with him.
Sintez Galindo, congratulations on what must be a unique experience for you in the GTPs and to getting P1 in the class itself. Take us through it, and how much were you screaming in your car?
Let's say I have like 4 or 5 times I screamed through my lungs because I was in the middle of wrecks that happened in the middle of the race. My heart is still pounding about what happened today. Whoa, my goodness! I expected to be chaotic and stuff, but wow, such an experience. Yeah, let's think about it next time. Thank goodness it host a race.
Exactly. Take us through, like, what was the main goals for the GTPs? Because I know it was the closing distance between the classes was actually quite shocking. Actually, it was quite fast, if anything, because it was like we were expecting it to be, the closing distance to be, pretty big, but a lot of GTPs out there were actually caught out by how slow relatively the GTOs were.
let's say that it wasn't. Well, it was what I at least expected, that the GTO were slow enough to be there. The problem I didn't, well, the matter I didn't expect was that when there's a caution, people group up. And when there's a restart, there are like 10 or 11 GTOs that you need to get through in the middle of a corner or something. And that is really, really, really sketchy. And I was like, many of us were like dancing or sliding through with the best of our abilities. And yeah, it was like such an experience to have this. This is why probably that oval and multi-class are not exactly the best combination, but still happy with this result, nonetheless.
Still is worth taking at least a crack at it. But I'd say it's a lot of people being like, yeah, it's a great for once off, but it might be a bit too strenuous for a lot of us. But as far as that is concerned, are you coming back for proper racing next season for Kamel?
Yeah, I'm preparing for next season. Probably I drive the GTP as well. I was considering to try the Audi to have a change of setting as such, because the past season with all the fire for the championship, and it's let me, like, say, tired and trying to fight and train and everything to try to get up to Hugh. Was quite stressing, and this is one I didn't expect, and to be in Kamel, because I love Kamel. I love all the drivers involved, no exceptions, and I want to have fun. And when I was fighting for the championship, it was like, yeah, this is cool and all, but I want not having fun. But my objective now is to have fun, first of all. So maybe I don't push that far for the championship or something, or even try the GTO and see how the Audis deal with us. And well, but still, I'm looking forward for next season. I think I'm not bad. I think, but still, I'm looking forward for next season. Yeah.
Sure thing. Before we let you go, do you have any thanks or any shout outs you'd like to give?
Well, plenty, my family, and also you guys for hosting, broadcasting this race, the hotel race. The guys at Dirty Tour for hosting this session, and for taking my idea. I think it was sort of my idea to have this multi-class oval racing, and well, it paid off at me in the end. So, but yeah, thank everybody for all this. It was very fun.
Thank you very much, Aitor Sintes Galindo. Congratulations once again on your race victory today. That was Aitor Sintes Galindo talking to us here in the booth. And I think Phil is going to be talking to you, Joe.
Yeah, perhaps the most unenviable job in racing, the chief steward, the one in charge of everything. Phil, what do you feel like this does for you as a driver next time you get in the cockpit, though? Will it change how you drive at all, or how you approach anything of what's going? I know this is a unique situation with cars that aren't really meant for this sort of course together, but like you said, it seems like it kind of opened your eyes to a world you weren't aware of.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's too much that you can take across to circuit racing. I mean, other than patience, maybe. I really don't know. I think the difficulty for the GTPs, as Aitor mentioned, was because of the cautions, it kept the GTOs together, and then you would be coming through and they're already 2 or 3 wide, so you've really not got any space to get through. Had it gone green for a little longer and everybody spaced out a bit, I think it would have been cleaner, but it's really hard to say.
Well, it certainly will help probably in the first round with Detroit coming up. Are you looking forward to the season starting up, especially with such a daunting task in the the season opener?
Yeah, definitely. I missed probably half the back end of the season. The last season, I had a little bit of a shoulder injury, so I'm looking forward to getting back into Kamel. And yeah, I really love Belle Isle, so looking forward for that one.
Oh, we can't wait to have you back as well. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, though?
Yeah, you guys, of course, for the broadcast. John Keefe for sponsoring the